everyone, my name is Justine. Today I want to go over why I think it's important to bring cultural awareness to an educational setting. I think that educational foundation starts out with just basic knowledge of how we are supposed to react with other people, and then as you grow older you learn later on how to interact, the interpersonal skills. And so for the first time when you meet someone from a different country, or whenever you end up coming across a foreigner and you want to introduce yourself or somehow greet, and sometimes there's a confusion because sometimes you don't know if people like that personal touch. If someone doesn't want to be touched on the hand or touched at all, sometimes they prefer a bow. In Japanese culture, they bow, and that's how it's a sign of respect and also a way to introduce yourself to someone. Along with handshakes are the most universally used when meeting someone. My father's family is from Italy, and they kiss 3 times on the cheek, and so that's something that they do with their greeting, as well as Mexicans will kiss once on the cheek, following a hug. So there's many different cultures that interact with each other, and I think it's important to put that basic foundation of understanding that everyone's equal and we're all from different people in our education in some way. And so for the teachers, I think that they could focus on clothes and clothing from different countries. They can focus on different languages, just basic skills of saying hello in every other language. I think that this is supplemental information that will help them later on with their careers, even if you started at a young age. I think that food's important. It's really fun to introduce new foods from all over, and how maybe we eat our potatoes here according to the way maybe someone eats it in London and UK. So I think it's really cool to compare and contrast different things, and we're actually really similar. We're all humans and we all share this bond, and I think that it's really important to put that in education. So there's a quote I found, and it's from Health and Education Training Center in Australia, and it says that the cultural awareness involves actions that recognize, respect, and nurture the new cultural identity of a person and safely meet their needs, expectations, and rights. And it means working from the cultural perspective of another person and from your own perspective. And so I think this is really what captures how education can involve it, and making sure that every person feels important and are fed the same information, and everyone has the same outcome in each class. And so another quote I got, which is the basis of making sure that cultural awareness steps foot into a classroom, to make sure that everyone's equal, everyone has the same rules, everyone has the same ideas. And I think that the tension between culture is underpinning all of the research in progress: anthropology, cultural studies, psychology, sociology, and philosophy, and derives from the fact that we must use ourselves to access, explain, and connect with the world around us. And this is including other persons. And so I got that quote from Frank Lowe. His book is Thinking Space, and he goes over why cultural awareness is so important to bring to education. It helps us in a matter of different ways, such as preventing racism. Instead of someone slandering someone or stereotyping someone because of what they know about their identity, it's better if they got to meet that one person that changed their perspective, and they learned way more about that person's culture, and they ended up learning self-awareness and how to meet someone from somewhere else and dig in more, and then that creates our cultural competence, which means someone's reaching out and doing their research on someone to find out more about them. What do they do for traditions? What celebrations do they celebrate? What things do they do in their overall culture? And so this is really important to bring to the learning perspective. So expressing interest in ethnic backgrounds of your students is something that educators could do. Now they can relate to students on the first day and say, where's your family from? And maybe someone's family's from Africa, and they want to go over maybe like some of the tribal things they do. And then you have people that are from, different countries, and they all kind of just want to talk about their own cultures and their own way of life and the way that they live it. So assigning projects with social interaction, mixing people and in different groups and putting them together, and maybe doing a culture project where everyone kind of puts information about their own self on this project. They get to learn about each other, and they get to interact in that way and learn more about someone else's culture. And so The basic foundation rules you have to set up in a classroom would be to be respectful, be ready, be responsible, and be successful. And those four are really important just because of the fact that respect is something that you should have for someone who you're in class with. It should be something that you naturally have for someone else unless they did something wrong where you lose respect. And so you want to make sure that respect is being shown in the school's foundation, and to be ready, to be prepared for things that come at you educationally, work, everything that, so be ready, be responsible, and be successful. And so you want to make sure that you put the same level of success for each student across the board. You want to make sure they all want to reach that high level of exceeding what the teacher wants them to. So setting high standard is important for creating a fair educational learning environment. And so I think that these high standards that you set for everyone makes everyone competitive, which is really good, which is what we want. This is what we have in sports with everyone, and this is kind of teaching kids how to be with each other. And so cultural competence is the result. Like I said, cultural competence involves investigating in someone by learning about another person's way of life. And now this means this involves stepping out of the comfort zone, being able to maybe have dinner with your Indian friend's family and understand why they eat what they eat, and what's their delicacy dishes, and what's their dessert like, and what languages do they speak during dinner. Something like this could be really a cool project to put out together as a teacher for their students to learn more about each other's cultures. And then I have valuing diversity is what should be taught in school, valuing each other and where everyone comes from, and how we're all coming together for the same thing of, getting an education or educating. And this is our field, so it's something that I think cultural awareness should play a big role in. So appreciating others' ethnic backgrounds is very important, along with promoting equality. I think that cultural awareness helps lead people in the direction of cultural competence and wanting to know more about someone who's maybe not from here, and learn their way of life. Along with it's promoting equality. We're all people and we're all the same, and this will help us, I feel, dramatically stop racism and people not understanding and stereotyping and being prejudiced toward certain people. And I think that can help if we can make these kids understand that every culture should be socially accepted. It helps overall achieve everything. So